Right. I'm here to just demonstrate the drive through Spring Lake, Michigan, and what it looks like. I'm sure that if the police find my camera and see that I am videotaping while I'm driving, I will be pulled over and ticketed. But you know what? We're coming to a day and age where people believe that cellular telephones and crap are really bad, and texting while you're driving is really bad, and I'm sure videotaping while you're driving is probably also considered really bad. And in the last, say, 10 years, I have received 2 traffic tickets. One of them was for speeding. It was in the middle of the night. I don't remember what the other one was for. Probably the same thing, but that's not a whole lot of traffic violations in the last 10 years, you know. Especially since I drove truck all across the country and had to watch that. But everybody's driving techniques are on a different level. No offense to anybody else, but I think I can handle my own when it comes to driving. I've driven, so many piles of shit in the last 20 years. I think I've owned about 26 vehicles. Most of them were junk. This is the first nice vehicle I've ever owned, and I don't even own it, the bank does. I'm just enjoying it while it lasts and hope that I'm able to make the payments on it, but the reality for me is that things happen and life happens, and it doesn't matter how hard you work or how much you want to work, people judge you. So, you know, I'm hoping that I can keep it up. I've got a few things in my pocket right now that's going on that are helping me make the payments. But all in all, even though I drive a Jeep and it looks really nice, it's not a new Jeep, it's an older Jeep. It just happens to look really nice. It probably won't look nice after I get done with it, because I don't generally try to fix up older cars, but I'm paying a very high price for it, $9,000. And it's not even worth $9,000, even though it's pretty. It's worth about, I would say, $3,000 or $4,000, but because of the past and some of my credit decisions, I couldn't get credit anywhere else, and I had no transportation. So I'm being taken advantage of by the company that's supposedly selling me this car. But on that note, we're living in a society here in Michigan where we have to have a car. There is not public transportation everywhere like there is in England, and you know, you cannot get by without a vehicle, so you are forced to buy one if you want to do any business whatsoever. And the junky cars are just getting worse. You used to be able to pick up a $600 car and it would last you a year and a half to 2 years without having to fix it up. Now, when you buy a $600 car, you are buying the biggest pile of shit, and it's quite possible that even if you did fix it, which I have done, you're going to be putting more into it than it's worth. So, unless you have a husband or boyfriend that's a mechanic, it's not really worth the money to pay for that. This is a rural road that I'm driving down. It's going between Spring Lake and Utica, Michigan. And does not have any bus service out here. The people that live out here used to be wealthy, but now we are coming into the lower to middle class, and this is not me. I am actually very, very poor. What I do to keep myself above water is I plant a vegetable garden, a huge one, and I have someone that drops groceries off who is a vendor that probably other people would not eat, but I cut the cores and the bad spots out of all of the food, and I can it and I eat it later. Most of the time the food is going bad or has gone bad, and it's still edible if you know how to salvage it. It's salvageable. And the other thing that I do is I go driving, and while I'm driving, if I've driven the same route for say a week or whatever, and I see a deer or a turkey laying on the side of the road that I knew was just hit in the last day or two, I take that and I pluck the turkey, or I take the deer's carcass off for the meat and put it in my freezer. Now, not a lot of people know how to process deer or turkey because the government makes us rely on grocery stores, and it's not possible for people to learn these skills and techniques. My father was a hunter and fisherman, and so were the rest of my uncles, and my family basically has always lived off of almost nothing. So we are thankful for everything that we get. Our meat comes primarily from salvage or the grocery store. Most of the meat that I salvage is a lot of work to salvage, but I am not the only person that does this, and it is illegal for Americans to pick up a deer that's been hit on the side of the road that they didn't hit themselves. But I think that if nobody sees me pick it up, then they can pretty much suck it up, because my family needs food, and we are not relying on the government for all of our needs and necessities. We do what we have to do to get by. We try to get by without having to spend food stamps and things like that. But there are things that we need, and so we have to do what we have to do. But most Americans are either 100% reliant on the government, or they are barely making it by, and the food prices just keep getting higher and higher and higher. And there are starving children out there. If I could teach people how to salvage food, I would definitely do that. I am lucky that my parents taught me how to salvage food. It is not hard to do. The food is still good, but most people are unwilling to do that because they are always taught that, oh my gosh, if there's a brown spot on a banana, we can possibly cut the brown spot off of the banana and eat the rest of the banana. It's no good. We might get some kind of a disease. Well, guess what? People in other countries eat rotten food because they have no food at all, and it's the only food that they eat because that's the only food that's available, and they still are living. Sure, they have diseases, but most of the time it's not from the food. It's because their body has built up a better immune system. I'm not suggesting that the food that I salvage is bad. I'm saying that people eat rotten food all the time, and they're still living. It may not be a good thing. You might not want to do that, but You can cut out the bad part in the apple. You can save your food. You don't have to rely on the government to feed you. There's all sorts of things out in the wild that you can eat, like sassafras leaves. You can eat yucca plants. You can basically eat just about anything that isn't poisonous or whatever. Even alfalfa grass. It's great for your joints. I'm not suggesting I'm a grass eater, but I'm just saying you can plant your own food, and it is better for you. It has less fat in it. You can eat almost as much as you want of green vegetables and never, ever, ever gain weight. And it also helps clean out your system, and it boosts your immune system, and it gets rid of the impurities in your blood. So the fact that Americans are addicted to fast food, well, hey, I enjoy a good Whopper every once in a while, probably about once a year. But the truth of the matter is, I don't have money for that nonsense. And yes, they are fantastic burgers, even though they have made them smaller now. But, you can't live that way. People cannot live that way because it is clogging your arteries. And I'm not a health food nut. I know a lot of people that go out and buy and make their own teas and da-da-da-da-da. But the truth is that all I'm saying is that we don't have to rely on the government. There are plenty of resources out there for people who can learn how to grow their own food. I have fruit trees on my property that were planted by my parents and grandparents and my uncles. I have nut trees. I have crabapple trees. Did you know that you can eat crab apples and they taste just like regular apples when they're cooked? There are so many ways that you can get by. You do not have to go to the government for help. And I realize that the government is trying to get us to quit growing our own food. And why are they doing that? Why? Because they want to be in control. They want to charge you. They want to make sure that they and Monsanto are getting all of the money for everything. That's why. But there are still people out there that know what they're doing. So as far as my opinion on the matter, I think that all Americans should educate themselves in how to grow food. And, I might be poor. I might have bad teeth because I can't afford a dentist. But I am not thin. And I am not unhappy. And I praise the Lord every day for a roof over my head and food in my stomach. And I am not unwilling to go out of the way to shoot a little rabbit if I have to. Not that I want to, because I don't. Or plant a garden to feed my family. I'm not unwilling to do that. I might be a little crazy, but that's besides the point. So basically what I'm saying is you people need to open your mind. Open your mind and realize that there is food all over the place and you can eat it. All you have to do is know how to prepare it. For example, I will just give you a good example. Okay, we are coming up onto a cornfield. Maybe you can't see it very well. It's all brown and crusty. But I can guarantee you that there's corn on those corn stalks. And yes, I do go out of my way to find out who the owner of these cornfields are. And I go and I ask him, can we trade something? Can we trade something for some corn? And I do this every year. And I'm not ashamed. Every year. And I get corn. And these
farmers will trade you for corn. They will say, what do you want the corn for? I say feeding my animals because I do, but you know what? If it's sweet corn, because a lot of Americans like sweet corn, I take I take some of it, I feed my animals with it, and I can some of it. I don't tell the farmer how much I take. I just say, would you like to trade something for some of your corn? Now, I'm not saying that I go out and rip every single corn stalk down because I don't. But what I am saying is you can do these things to get by. And you shouldn't be ashamed of doing these things because it is only right for you to want to feed your family and to help your family. So please bear in mind that you don't have to go hungry. There are ways that you can feed yourself that doesn't include going into trash cans and picking out old food. Thank you, and God bless.